What is going on, guys? It is Wrestlelamia here, back with some more news. Join us now as we look at the wildest news stories and rumors you need to know, including a WWE star taken out on Money in the Bank qualifier, Wyatt victims revealed, 2 major matches happening at SummerSlam, is one big bout in Jeopardy for SummerSlam, WWE Trademarks a new name for Bloodline member, Corey Graves cried during the Wyatt6 debut, John Cena's retirement is coming, and much more. Be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell for daily wrestling videos, and follow us on Facebook for exclusive lists. Also check out our new videos on Wrestlelamia XL. Now let's hit the intro and get straight into our first story. Atop of today's news is a report that the city of Minneapolis could be hosting 3 major PLEs. In an exclusive report, WrestleVotes noted, WrestleVotes exclusive, I'm told WWE, the Indiana Sports Corp, are nearing a multi-event deal starting with the 2025 Royal Rumble at Lucas Oil Stadium on Saturday, February 1st, 2025. In addition, the deal is likely to include a future WrestleMania and SummerSlam, which would both take place at Lucas Oil Stadium. There were rumors that Minneapolis was a top contender to host WrestleMania 41, however the WWE then announced that Las Vegas would host the Showcase of the Immortals. Minneapolis seemed to get a consolation prize when the WWE announced that it would host a 2-night version of SummerSlam. If this report pans out, this will be a major change in how the WWE handles and negotiates the rights to host its PLEs. Previously, the WWE negotiated 1 show at a time. However, with it being so popular, the company may try to lock in as many deals as possible ahead of time to increase revenue from rights fees it gets from municipalities. Next up, a WWE star taken out of the Money in the Bank qualifier. There's more bad news for Chad Gable as his woes continue to pile up. Gable came up short in his Intercontinental Championship rematch against Sami Zayn and saw his Alpha Academy students walk out on him, and even worse, appeared to suffer a brutal and bloody beatdown at the hands of Uncle Howdy and his macabre minions. Now it appears that Gable is out of the upcoming Money in the Bank qualifier on the upcoming 24th June Raw. Cage Side Seats reported on Thursday that it questions whether Gable could compete after suffering a horrendous beating had been answered. That's exactly what happened today, based on a graphic that aired during WWE main event. Gable was gone from the match and replaced by Ilya Dragunov. Strowman is still there, so it's possibly online detectives who thought they spotted his giant body among Howdy's bloody wreckage were wrong. Some fans thought that they spotted Strowman among the pile of bodies backstage during Uncle Howdy's attack. Strowman later tweeted he wasn't there, but there was no doubt that Gable was. Some fans joked that Gable might have been future endeavored to the squared circle in the sky following the attack based on how badly he looked after the beating. The Wyatt6 assault on Raw may have already spread outside the WWE, as we'll see in our next story, as did the Wyatt6 take out Pat McAfee. A recent happening on the Pat McAfee show has some fans believing that the Wyatt6 has struck again. Pat was conducting an interview with his various cast members when something off screen caught their attention, with Pat commenting, "What the F is that?" before the lights went out. Did Uncle Howdy and his cadre of creeps strike Pat McAfee, and will this lead to him being taken off Raw, much like Chad Gable? Next up, Wyatt victims revealed. While details are scarce on which wrestlers besides Chad Gable were laid out by the Wyatt6, PW Insider is reporting that the bevy of bodies backstage weren't regular WWE workers, but extras brought in. Next up, 2 major matches happening at SummerSlam. The WWE's Money in the Bank PLE is coming soon, but fans won't be seeing 2 highly anticipated matches there, at least according to a report from the Wrestling Observer newsletter. Regarding Rhodes vs Sikoa and Paul vs Knight, as things stand this week, both of those matches are earmarked for SummerSlam and not Money in the Bank. The WWE could change things up, but it makes sense to save those 2 matches for the biggest party of the summer, because Money in the Bank, like the Royal Rumble, is big enough based on the stipulation matches. Add in the rumors of Roman Reigns possibly showing up at the Royal Rumble, and the rumors that WWE plans to take the US Championship off Paul at SummerSlam, and this makes sense. Next up, a big bout for SummerSlam in Jeopardy. While the WWE Universe may see the 2 aforementioned matches at SummerSlam, another big bout is still up in the air. Dave Meltzer is reporting the hope is that Punk vs McIntyre will take place at SummerSlam on 3rd August in Cleveland, but we're told that as of right now, that's up in the air, whether Punk will be ready by that date. It was emphasized to me that he could be ready, but not a sure thing. Punk will be making an announcement on SmackDown this week, which was teased like he would be announcing he's cleared. As Meltzer mused, fans could find out as early as tonight whether Punk is able to wrestle. Hopefully the straight-edge superstar can stay injury-free so the feud with McIntyre can play out. Next up, WWE Trademarks a new name for a Bloodline member. Now, it appears that WWE is putting things in place for another Bloodline member, as a company recently trademarked the name Caesar Sikoa. Jacob Fatu has been signed to the WWE for some time but is yet to debut, and there's speculation he may come in as Caesar Sikoa. However, the WWE has already started dropping hints about a new Bloodline member, as we've already noted in our review of Clash at the Castle. There, Randy Orton and Kevin Owens ran in to save Cody Rhodes from a 3-on-1 attack by the Bloodline, with the announcers saying the numbers game was even, a subtle sign that the numbers won't be even for long. Next up, Shane McMahon in AEW update. It was time for an update on the wild rumor that Shane McMahon reached out to an AEW talent about working in the company. The story came up after Jim Ross was discussing Shane McMahon on his podcast, and podcast co-host Conrad Thompson discussed a text he once received suggesting Shane had reached out to AEW wrestlers. However, Dave Meltzer is reporting he checked with AEW sources and there was no indication of Shane having contacted AEW. According to Meltzer, we've checked with a number of people on both sides high up on the food chain, and some noted that they have never heard anything close to that. And others say that they were being asked all day, but it heard nothing but what Thompson said. Meltzer added, Tony Khan's comments was, I never met him or talked to him in my life. However, Meltzer seems to have a theory on how the rumors started. One person noted to us that there was a conversation between McMahon and an ex-WWE talent in AEW, and it was described as not a pitch to get in or anything, just two people chatting when McMahon said something to the effect of, can you imagine if I walked out there on Dynamite? Not as if he was pitching anything. They said it wasn't serious, and it would explain why no key people in AEW have ever heard of it before. Dave also suggests the rumor may be a part of a plan by Shane to help any negotiations with TKO Holdings about a possible return. Next up, NXT superstar shelved by ACL tear. It was time for an update on NXT superstar Gigi Dolan, as Dave Meltzer is reporting that Dolan's injury keeping her out of action is said to be a torn ACL. This follows a Fightful report that she was out with a knee injury. Wrestling News notes that it believes Dolan will be out of action between 9 to 12 months. We send our best to Gigi Dolan for a fast and full recovery. Next up, Corey Graves cried during the Wyatt6 debut. The Wyatt6's highly acclaimed debut has been the talk of the wrestling world, and now WWE commentator Corey Graves is now sharing how the storyline made him cry. Corey spoke about it on Over the Top with Pete Rosenberg's show. I cried, I sobbed. Bray Windham returned to meant so many things to so many people. He was such a unique character, unique presentation. I don't think it could have been done any better than it was on Monday night. Graves explained why it was so important that the segment played out so well. There was something magical happening when Howdy started walking and hearing the crowd understand what was happening. I got emotional. Bray was so important to many of us, and everything he created and took so much care of and so much pride in, it would have been a disservice to do anything less than perfection. It was a home run. Graves said he watched the segment several times and noticed new things about it. One of the big concerns with some fans was whether the WWE would do Bray Wyatt's memory justice with this storyline, and so far it seemed like they succeeded beyond expectations. And finally, John Cena retirement news. Last but not least, John Cena is reminding fans he's nearing the finish line when it comes to his WWE career. During a chat with People, the 16-time world champion discussed his lifetime pursuing fitness goals and remarked, I know my WWE journey is coming to an end, but fitness was a part of my life long before the WWE journey started. Fitness will be a part of my life, hopefully as long as my heart's beating. So the WWE's been a great chapter in my life. It's year 23 for me, and the sun's setting on that chapter in the book, but fitness will never not be a part of my life. Cena discussed how different things have motivated him to stay fit, and he hopes to do so long after his wrestling career ends. At 47 now, my goal is to be physically active until I can't. I put a number into my head of I'd like to be physically active into my late 80s, 90s, to do a parallel squat in my late 80s. When do you think John Cena's final match in the WWE will happen? Let us know in the comments down below, and I'll see you next time with some more wrestling content.